Social media stressing you out? Here are some content ideas and marketing tips for you. Hello everyone, my name is Tessa. I'm with the marketing team at IdeaPros and we have two special guests for you today. I am with you in the chat, however, today is not a live session, but we do have an awesome presentation from some partners of IdeaPros that work with our marketing. After partners are done creating what we say their car and getting ready to go, they will go over and talk with C Squared Social to find out a marketing plan that might fit their needs, advertising, social media content, and so forth. But today they are going to bring us some content ideas and marketing tips that you really can do, some ways to look at the content. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Katerli and Cody. And again, they're with the C Squared marketing team, and they actually have Kevin O'Leary businesses that they work with. So really, really successful and amazing team. I love working with them. So here you go.
Yeah, it's been great to partner with IdeaPros, and we feel like there's a lot of synergies there. We kind of built this marketing agency around the idea of how do we take the white glove agency experience and resources that typically was reserved for, major companies with big budgets and bring it to entrepreneurs and startups and businesses of all sizes, and wanting to kind of figure out how to become that partner and that extension, with the expertise in all these different areas of marketing that are so important, especially as you're taking your business to market initially. And so really enjoyed the partnership and just a great talented team there at IdeaPros, and finding ways that we can help accelerate your growth and fill in the gaps and the different areas where we can help support you as you go to, take your business to infinity and beyond. So the kind of topic we just wanted to talk to you all for a few minutes today is kind of the non-advertising route to growth. And it might sound weird coming from an agency that specializes in advertising, but more and more we see trends in the marketplace, especially on the digital side of things, that consumers are influenced by things more than advertising. A lot of it, the organic content that you put forth on your social channels, to the videos and user-generated content that you can create in places like Instagram Reels and TikTok, to finding influencers and kind of the creators out there that have that community that really resonate with your product or service, that can go out and tout your brand and kind of, bring it, into the marketplace and focus, on how do you get some traction early on and kind of bottom of funnel and generating some revenue and some ways to really start, getting some growth without major expenditures tied to it. And so the topic of today is how, we see best practices and things to really build that infrastructure that's going to give the consumers confidence in your brand, credibility in the content that you're putting out there, and things that are going to be persuasive, and taking that, ideal audience and starting to turn them into your customers. So, my name's Cody. This is Katerli here. We're just north of the IdeaPros crew in Carlsbad, California. We also have offices up in Boise, Idaho, just to give you a little background on who we are. So we're a full-scale digital marketing agency, all US based, and really, try to put together the pieces of experts in all of these different areas of digital advertising and marketing. It's a complex world these days, constantly changing. There's, nothing but curveball after curveball being thrown, from, Apple going to war with Facebook with the iOS 14.5 update, with privacy and regulatory changes. And how do you find kind of the team with the resources to really help your business kind of, take all those challenges on and bring it to market in the way that you want to display your brand, the way you want to grow. And so again, we're going to kind of talk today about the different things that you can do from an organic standpoint, they're affordable. They're things that, that kind of lay that groundwork of who you're going to be and how you bring that brand out to those consumers. So I think kind of starting off, we'll talk about your social channels. And, one thing that, is we work with clients of all different shapes and sizes, and we think through what type of content do you put on your Facebook page, your Instagram, your Twitter, into TikTok to really kind of showcase who you are and to really resonate with that audience, to get that audience willing to follow you, to show that loyalty and to put enough variety in the things that you're putting out there to tie them into your brand and where you're going. We really kind of see content as a 4-pillar objective. We try to focus really on promoting your product, obviously, or your services, but also educating, entertaining, and inspiration. We feel like there's got to be that variety as you go to, kind of fill your news feeds with different posts and different content. And more, I mean, we see the consumer journey. You read trade journals and the like and see that, typically someone has to see something 6 to 7 times before a conversion event, whether that means purchasing something on your website or filling out a lead form. So that might start with a Google search that leads them to your site, where the pixel then is able to start remarketing to them. So they see an ad in Facebook and they see it in Instagram or the audience network. Maybe they're reading an article online and your ad populates there. That might lead to a visit to your social pages just to kind of check out, who you are, if you're legit. And then eventually to the point of, okay, add to cart, initiate checkout and convert. And so making sure that you're buttoned up on all those different areas is so important. And we see the need that in your organic content that it's really a variety of different content.
Yeah. Really like the validation that comes with, first and foremost, having your social channels set up, making sure that, your profile picture or your banner, that's branded. And so people are connecting the dots. If they've been to your website and they go to your Instagram, that they can find you with a consistent, handle, that has your brand name and that carries over to Facebook or maybe carries over to LinkedIn. Those seem like really small things, but they make a really big impact. And we work with a lot of clients who, come to us with, who want to I want to push ads. I want to run ads and get sales, but they don't have, maybe their Instagram or Facebook all set up. And really, we want to push them to have those channels set up because we know that, like Cody mentioned, that consumer journey is so heavily rooted in this research, that is what consumers are doing right now is before they make, a decision, they're really going to go do their due diligence. I think of myself when I look at going to a new restaurant, the first thing I do is go to Instagram. I try to find their profile, right? And then maybe I'll go to Open Table and make a reservation, but a lot of it is additional research I'm doing outside of their website. And that's exactly what your customers are going to do. And it's really kind of the first foundational piece in your business, buttoning up your pages and then making sure when it comes time to create the content, for your channels, that you think of it as kind of from the eye of the consumer, right? You need it to be interesting and not just promotional. We've probably all been on feeds where, someone was just pushing a sale over and over and over again. And that's content that's just not as valuable to a consumer. So consumers are looking for things that, do give them some form of entertainment, right? That's why people love social media. They love stuff that's funny and engaging, but also, something they can count on that is educational, that really teaches them something. It's something that can be shareable. And then you can sprinkle in something that is promotional, but it's all about sort of finding a balance. And that's why we like to use kind of these 4 pillars as sort of our guide when we put together a social feed.
Yes. And then there's opportunities now in the marketplace to start to advertise in a way that kind of blurs the line between, what's just content or what's just someone telling you how much they love a product or a service and what's an actual ad. There's been a big prioritization in Meta's platform of Instagram, and particularly with Reels. So short form video starting to dominate social media. TikTok, the amount of daily active users is just through the roof. Instagram's trying to combat that with their Reels. They're putting a lot of priority behind anyone that creates a Reel can start to show up in a feed. When you get in kind of that trance of, scrolling, next video, those little adrenaline hits of seeing one thing after the other, and they start to learn what you like, and really feed you content that's engaging to you. You can create, what we call user-generated content, which, a short form video that can talk about the benefits of your product or your service, but in a way that kind of, feels organic and human to human, and someone may be talking about why they like you so much and why it's a great product for them. Here's an example of something that you can create that again would be showcased in some of those different platforms that are specific to short form video.
Let's make a mocktail using my cool all-in-one water appliance. First, I cut my lime and muddled my mint. Then I crushed my raspberries. Next, let's squeeze in that fresh lime juice. Now for my favorite part. I just hit the sparkling water option on my Cool and watch all of these fresh ingredients turn into a delicious drink. I love how the Cool allows me to make so many yummy recipes all at the touch of a button and cuts down on single-use plastics. Cheers.
Again, obviously an advertisement, but yet something that fits well to within the scope of content that you're digesting as you're going through certain platforms. And you could take something like this and create it within Reels or within TikTok, and with no ad budget behind it, it's going to start to go and get some traction in the marketplace with more impressions, even without the ad budget behind it, because of, again, this video is something that, these companies are putting a lot of priority behind. So, again, in the effort of, how do you really start to build that infrastructure without breaking the bank in terms of budget initially? These are some things that we feel like, best practices and a good place to start. Email too. So next, I think Katerli will pull up, give you an idea of how you can really set up your website. So there's so many different great platforms now. Again, we think of the customer journey and how important it is that, when someone visits your site for the first time, typically that's not, going to be a purchase. It's going to be something that eventually brings them back to the point of that purchase. So email is so compelling these days. And the fact that if, I go to a site, I see a little pop-up that maybe tells me, 10% off your first order, put in your email, which with that capture, you then can kind of start nurturing that lead through maybe an automated flow of content that talks about who you are, why your products are so great, some of the fundamental values of your business, which is so important these days, that people kind of resonate and feel that there's that there are shared values in place with who they're purchasing from. And then even to look at the behavior and say, based on what someone's doing on your website, we really want to feed them a specific, level of content. So they add something to the cart, but they don't, finish a purchase. What are we going to send them to really compel them to come back and do that? I know people that work here in C-Squared that understand these mechanisms that will, they see a pair of shoes, an advertisement for a pair of shoes on Instagram that looks great. And they know, okay, I'll go to the site, I'll put in my email address. And if I'm patient enough to wait a couple of days, I'm probably going to get 25% off coupon through an email before I make that purchase, which I'm already going to make, but I know that that's coming because it's part of this cadence of how I influence someone to actually convert. But it's important to have these series in place because it kind of turns your website into this machine that's converting based on customer behavior and nurturing those leads with the right type of content that's going to get them to the point of driving revenue. Again, all in a fashion of non-paid advertising that's maximizing site traffic. So again, best practices in terms of set that foundation, build your brand digitally in a way that's going to, convert traffic at the max amount.
And the bottom line is, this is not easy. I mean, you're not going to sit there and open up your store and everybody's going to come pouring in. It's very strategic, and there's human behavior involved. And when you use these patterns to go and chase those humans around until they give up and make a purchase, then you're going to do really well. If you sit back and just wait for it to happen, then you're going to do really poorly. You're going to call me up and say, this is bullshit. I don't have any sales. What's going on? You got to be strategic. Something like, I think it was something like 87% of people who purchase online investigate at some level before they make that purchase. So C-Square guys, you're amazing. And by the way, the only thing they didn't talk about here is really what they do really well, and that's the advertising part of it. And we have a special deal with them, and I encourage everybody to, once you launch, get with these guys, because they can start you off small, but they can grow just as big as you can grow. They have clients in all different spectrums, and they have Mr. Wonderful associated with them too, and now me. So wow. Thanks guys so much.
Thank you guys.